Hello, everybody, and welcome to coverage of the 2021 Fall Brawl quarterfinals. I'm Michael Hoyp. I'm joined today by special guest Brian Kowal. Say hi, Brian.
Hey everybody,
All right, so I don't
glad
know
to be
if
here.
if you guys are familiar with BK, but longtime friend, longtime Madison player, long time. I think of BK as one of the classic deck brewers of all time. So this is a format that has really sparked his interest, and he's been following for a while, but recently has dipped his toe into the playing world because this was your first tournament of Premodern. Is that correct?
That's true.
So, and of course, you lived up to your name, and you did play a non-traditional deck. You built your own deck, but we won't have too much time to talk about that since we are in the quarterfinals right now. But
Yeah,
uh, we have
it's in the pre-modern group. You can check it
yeah, he
out.
did make a post about that. So if you're interested to see what he played, it is a pretty neat brew. And but we'll talk about the decks that we have at hand. So Tom Metelsky is the one seed of the top eight. He went 7-1 with the Sligh deck that is up here. Uh,
hmm
Sligh has been a deck that is seen a lot in pre-modern and always considered one of the best decks. And the version that Tom has brought is a little bit different. There's some card differences that are a little bit different than what I typically see. So the notable
For
standouts
sure.
are there's some Goblin Patrols that aren't usually in the main, and I don't always see people playing Firebolt. And then Flame Rift I've seen come in and out, but those are the big standouts for me. I guess, and then also there's four copies of Barbarian Ring is the other standout for this list. So BK, from the things that you've seen, is there and the differences we highlighted? Do you think what do you like about this list, or what do you think that changes make a difference in the
I
metagame?
I really like this list. This is kind of like this is more burn than red deck wins to me. Like this is really close to just straight up burn. Like he's only using his one drops to basically be he's probably trying to get 4 damage out of all his one drops. That's the way I always look at decks like this. Like so that's why he's going with Goblin Patrol, I think, and Jackal Pup, of course. Um, Back in the day, you might also see like Goblin Cadets or something like that for like a 2-1, but just try to get fast guys in and then burn them out with everything else. And it seems good in like when a lot of people are playing like counterspell heavy control decks,
Mm-hmm.
just to like have lots of cards off the top that can just burn them out.
Yeah, so the patrols are there typically over, like, I think Mog Fanatic is probably the most commonly played card over that. And
Yeah.
so there are certain matchups where Mog Fanatic is good if like people are playing elves or Birds of Paradise or those type of things. But in this
Mm-hmm.
particular matchup, I certainly would rather have a Goblin Patrol as compared to a Mog Fanatic because it's just like a race. So dealing damage as quickly as
Right.
possible is really good.
Yeah.
So typically, Sligh has like a lot of decent matchups, but one of the matchups it actually struggles against is the deck that it is facing off, and that those are the versions of
Mm-hmm.
Stiflenought, and especially in the pre-boarded games, the Stiflenought decks are just usually consistent enough and fast enough to make a 12-12 that they can outrace the red decks, and
Yeah.
there's no counter magic from the red decks, and that it's just there's no hand disruption. So like Jens could mulligan to four cards, and if he just goes Island, Lotus Petal, Phyrexian Dreadnought, and Stifle, he could just
Mm-hmm.
have a turn one Dreadnought and know that it's gonna stick against the red deck. So probably not the matchup that Tom was hoping for, but I do. I guess we'll talk about a little bit more about sideboarding in games 3 and beyond, since we are playing a
Mm-hmm.
best of five. But there are a number of cards that Tom will have in the sideboard to bring in. But this Stiflenought list, I know before we talked about, and you said that you do like the blue black versions of Stiflenought. So give us a some quick input of why you like the blue black lists.
Well, it's almost a mono blue list. And it's very like very lean and mean. This is just like I'm gonna get my 12-12 into play, and I'm just gonna play all the counter spells and card drawing I can get to like protect it until it kills my opponent. That's why you see like all these. I thought he saw foil in his deck.
Yes,
No.
there's three copies of foil in there.
Oh yeah, okay, down there, yeah, and gushes and days and just set your guy up, sit behind some counter spells, and hope that's enough. And tutors to set up the dreadnought. Like this is like this matchup's just gonna be a race, right? Like who can get there faster.
Yes, especially in the pre-boarded games. I think it's just gonna who can do their thing the fastest and most consistent.
Yeah. There's no who's a beatdown. They're both beatdown.
All right. So with that, is there anything you want to add, or should we head down to the match?
Oh, I think we get started.
Okay, if you want to let our players know that we can get started. So Tom is the higher seed, so he gets to elect to play or draw, and he has chosen to play, which makes sense. And so I will bring up our card fetcher, and we'll get this match started. Jared wants to know where's the Reveler, BK, the boat brew in the house.
They don't let you play it.
Yeah,
it's garbage. Otherwise we'd just be on boat brew. Yeah. I might try building that deck anyway. No Revel Arcs. But they're going to get started. Jens has mulligan to 6 for the information of everybody.
Yeah, of all decks, like the Stiflenought, like especially if you know what you're playing against, does not really mind mulliganing. It's probably one of the best, if not the best deck at mulligan, because you're just trying to assemble that 2-card combo.
The new mulligan rules are so good for this deck because you just get to like see a full 7 every time. And like where like they would have got punished in the past for going down to a few cards. Like now they can get that perfect 4.
All right, things starting off with the Jackal Pup for Tom. So applying the 2 power for 1 mana. So that's what his deck is looking to do.
Yeah, just what you want.
And it looks like Jens is playing a Portent. So he's either trying to get a missing piece or just smoothing out his draws. Maybe if he does have it already, then he's looking for cards like Foil or Daze to... Because, I mean, I think the fastest Sligh can kill is turn 4. So if... but any piece of interaction like a Daze or a Foil, I think would add an extra turn to that.
Yeah, I think... I don't think they can do it turn 3, right? Like,
I don't.
It's pretty doubtful.
So.
Although I guess there's always hope with Fireblast. Like if you, no, I don't know. I don't think. Yeah, you definitely can do it with a Fireblast. You can do like Pup turn 1, Bolt, and then Ball Lightning Fireblast, right?
Yeah, that sounds right. 10. Then 6 from the bolts. Would the Pup be able to... But the Pup only attacks twice on turn 3. So that's only 18, I think. No, it's 10. 6 plus 4. Yeah, it's 20. Okay, so we see a Jens with another Portent. So does that make it seem like he doesn't have the Dreadnought here? Or do you think he's just going to use the Lotus Petal? And
I don't know. He played the Lotus Petal, which kind of makes me think he might, but maybe he wants to keep a counter spell up in case he has a Ball Lightning or something on his turn 3.
Okay, the Stifle came first. I'm like, I don't know what's happening here, but yes. So the Dreadnought's in play, and Stifle is like in the spot. Stifle is better than Vision Charm because the Jackal Pup isn't able to attack. So
yeah, I wouldn't attack. You don't think you'd attack with Jackal Pup here?
a brave man might, but I'm not a brave man. All right, so nothing from Tom, and then the 12/12 is going to crunch in for 12.
Yeah, I don't see him coming out of here alive.
Well, I mean, so if there was, did he discard a Curse Scroll? Oh no, it's in play. So I mean, if you end a turn Bolt here and then Grim Lavamancer, that's 5, and then you went land, Ball Lightning, Fireblast. Would that be enough? I have 12. Yeah, that would be exactly.
That would be just enough. Okay, yeah. So he's still in the game.
There's a prayer for the red deck, and I think, I mean, obviously Jens is in a great position, but I think that's what all the card draw is looking for, like a Daze or a Foil in these spots.
Yeah, he's only dead to perfects, right? So just if he gets any Daze or anything, you'd save.
All right, so there is a Bolt. And then the Lavamancer activation. Oh, unless it could be another spell, but looks like the Lavamancer will deal 2, so Jens will go down to 12.
All right.
Oh, there's a Stifle. Ooh.
Nope.
So that's an interaction piece that I didn't even think of. So here I think 13 is the most damage he could deal. If it's attack with land, ball lightning, attack for 9, and then a Fireblast.
I think Tom's so surprised that happened that he moved his opponent's life down to 12.
Yes, he did. Yeah, I think he did. Yeah, I did as well. So, but I put it back up. But it looks like Tom has left it. So, looks like there's not enough burn out of the Sligh deck. So we'll be moving on to a game number 2. And so,
and he was rolled up here. You could see the Daze foil Island Gush.
So all that digging, he definitely had all the tools to fight whatever Tom was going to throw at him. So. We have a follow from Sideboard, so welcome and thank you.
This is a reason I think that this Dreadnought list is so good, because how many decks can you think of that would beat a draw like that? You know?
Yeah, that is a draw that not even just like the Sligh matchup in particular, but there are definitely, I guess, 2 things. Like, when decks are not known, it doesn't feel that risky to just like mulligan all in on a 12-12 because you just close out the game so quickly. So that feels really good. And yeah, like playing against Sligh, I think it is one of the few decks, if not the only deck, that is really excited to play against Sligh, especially game 1s. So a big draw for the Stiflenought list.
Yeah, when I saw the list, I was like, I think this is his only really bad matchup in the top 8, the Sligh deck or the burn deck. Like, I think the other matchups are like actually seem pretty good for him.
Are you saying?
I think he wants.
Saying from
I think this is his worst matchup in the whole time.
Oh, okay. From
Tom's. Yeah, I think this is his worst matchup in the entire top 8.
Yeah, that's probably true. I could see, like, sometimes I could see like Oath of Druids causing a problem against the Sligh deck, but
yeah, that's probably his next worst.
Well, and then like the straight combo deck could be a little bit faster, but with his sideboard cards, I think he would definitely slow him down. So yeah, this is the matchup that Tom least would want to see in the top 8.
I bet he plays enough burn against Oath, against like green, black, white Oath, that he can never play a creature and kill him before he dies.
We've seen that matchup with like a little song and dance. Is like all you do is just make sure you have an answer to a Funeral Pyre token and just never trigger their Oath. All right, looks like Jens is going for a mulligan. So, but again, like it's not even something that like I think you should feel bad about. It's just
right, like we drew it up.
It's just improve your hand and find the speed is what you look for.
Yeah, this is a best of 5 as well, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So no boards yet.
Yeah. So I would anticipate still. I mean, there's a possibility that Tom could steal a game, but I think it's tough in the pre-boarded games, and then his sideboard does have a lot more tools than the average Sligh deck against the Stiflenought. So I think Tom is hoping to. I think he's probably thinking he's going to start down 0-2 and then do a reverse sweep if he plans to win.
But he is red. He can always sneak one out, right?
Yes. Well, I mean, we talked about there like that without the Stifle, and I mean, I don't know exactly what was in his hand. I guess Jens did have it all, but
yeah.
All right. Good start again.
Right.
Jackal Pup, that's the thing he needs, but all right. And so this is just a mirror of the game before. I guess we just have a replay going on.
Well, he's shuffling.
Okay.
Oh, shoot.
All right. Gets his card back from Portent. I know there's been a few times that I've forgotten to draw the card there, and I can tell you that Portent's not very good when you don't draw a card.
It's one of the drawbacks of the card.
Yeah, that you have to remember things.
Yeah.
All right, so Curse Scroll is added. So that in this type of matchup, this is not a card that's like really impressive out of the Sligh deck because the games are usually or the games are so condensed that you usually don't have time to activate Curse Scroll. So
yeah. How many pre-modern games do you think are like, whoa, 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 I got to draw for Portent before you draw?
like that, they like semi-forgetting kind of thing.
That's what is said, yeah. Like, or like either the other person like drew too quickly, or the like
not very many at all. In fact, I have often had my opponents like remind me, or they definitely like physically pause like to draw. It's like a reminder, a polite reminder of like you should draw your card now. And so most of the time there's a cooperation. Especially I think like the webcam element is also I think helps with that. Is you kind of give a little leeway to your opponent because things just don't seem as fluid as like a normal tabletop game.
Right.
All right, Lightning Bolt is deployed. That will put Jens to 14 as he chips away. So we did see the combination of Polluted Delta with the first pawn or the first Portent. So I guess he shuffled off it. So it's not like he found one card that he wanted. So never mind about that. And it looks like we have a Duress, which will show a Firebolt and an Incinerate, and we'll take the Incinerate. So the 3 damage burn spell is taken out of his hand.
Mm-hmm. Oh man, you didn't even draw the ball lightning.
All right, he'll deploy the Firebolt, put Jens to 10, and then has another Jackal Pup. I mean, of draws, that seems like a good one, because now, I mean, if he draws Fireblast, then he has 4 damage from the pups, and 2 damage from the scroll, and then 4 from the Fireblast. So
yeah, or if he draws a ball lightning, that's 6 + 4 as well. Yep. So he's got 8 outs to
just kill him next turn.
I believe he plays 4 of each, right?
Yes. We have a follow from Lost Pythlos, so thank you for the follow. Welcome. Yeah, so Jens on his turn 3, I think he's really looking to put a Dreadnought into play, because if he's not putting it down this turn, he's going to be at a pretty low life total when it does come down.
Yeah, I think like this is the one out for the Sligh deck is like pressure his combo to get the combo as quickly as possible.
Well, he's gushing first, so I guess he could have it, and he maybe just wants like spells for. I guess you don't need to do that first. I was gonna say if you have like foil, but so.
Yeah, he could be digging too, you know.
Yeah, I think that's what he is. Here's a Lim-Dul's Vault, so that's definitely the digging card. But for that sequence to happen in that order, then it must have been a card he gushed into, because usually you would Lim-Dul's Vault first and then cast Gush.
Yeah, I think he's in trouble if he's casting Lim-Dul's Vault here, I would think.
Yeah, I get that impression.
We'll see what happens. He might have something happening that we don't know, but.
All right, and that was just a pass. So definitely not something that Jens was looking for. So, and off the top, so Tom had told me that, like, someone had commented about his white-bordered ball lightning. He said, "Don't worry, I have a black-bordered one," and he gave me the impression that he had replaced it. But that ball lightning is foiled. But still, the Jackal Pups get to attack him for 4. So Jens is at 5.
It's very interesting because he probably has the Dreadnought here, right? Or we would guess he has to have it at this point after Lim-Dul's vaulting.
Well, so
but now he's at.
Oh, but it's a Vision Charm. That's not the one you wanted to see, because it's not going to be able to block the Jackal Pups. So whatever card Tom draws, he'll be able to attack with the pups and then deal 2 damage with the Curse Scroll. So looks like the little pups will get in, and an Incinerate is shown, and that will take down the Dreadnought. So Tom able to steal a pre-boarded game, which I think is really, really important for his chances of winning this match.
Most definitely.
All right, so now we get to talk about sideboarding. So the dynamics of this match really change because of just the presence of interaction between the Sligh deck, because we talked about the pre-boarded games that Stiflenought can pretty much just put a Dreadnought in play without consequence. But here now, when there's overloads, Pyroblasts, and Shattering Pulse from Tom, those are all cards that can interact with the combo from Jens. And so I think the dynamic of these games change a lot with these sideboard cards.
Oh yeah, he can't wait to get rid of those Cursed Scrolls, I would guess.
Yeah. And then I mean, like, Firebolt is probably a card where it's not worth its weight. Like 2 damage for 1 mana is not very much, and you're not expecting to flash it back very often. That would probably be another card that I'm looking to take out, because I think you're bringing in I think you're bringing in at least 8 cards with the 2 overloads and the 2 shattering pulses and the 4 pyroblasts. So I think I want to take out 8 cards. So I'd probably look at 4 Curse Scroll and 4 Firebolt. You could even make an argument for bringing in Pyrostatic Pillar, because you're going to be applying pressure, and if you have like a Jackal Pup or a Goblin Patrol in play, even if you're both taking damage to cast those, like, Jens is going to have to take so much damage just to set things up. Like, and if you had to take an additional 4 damage to put a Dreadnought into play, that could be really powerful from the Sligh perspective.
Yeah. I think at the very least, Pillar is a better Sulfuric Vortex.
Yeah, that's fair.
In this matchup.
All right, so let's look at the blue-black sideboard. We have a follow from Shrines, so welcome. Hope you're enjoying some pre-modern coverage.
Thanks, Shrines.
I think all these follows are they're
Senior Hinds.
Maybe I just kind of go with something. That is the thing that I feel for streaming, is that I have the most difficulty is like parsing out someone's name when I'm not familiar with it. So
maybe it's S. Rhines.
Yeah,
like he's from the Rhines.
Sure. So the blue-black Stiflenought list. So I do like Blue Elemental Blast against the mono red deck. That seems good.
Oh yeah.
Beyond that, I'm not as excited about other cards. You could make an argument for cards like Vendetta, but I mean, it's because Vendetta makes it lose to toughness, right? So it is a good exchange against Ball Lightning, and it's okay against the 1-drops. But the problem is, if you don't have it right away, it's just the timing of it has to be really precise.
Yeah. You could Engineered Plague, I guess, but I don't think that's like it kills any of his opponent's creatures and then all their copies that are in his deck. That's a card I used to classically bring in against red decks sometimes, just because you use it to kill a Jackal Pup and they have no more Jackal Pups for the rest of the game. Or just preemptively putting it on Elemental can be good too.
Yep. Are there any cards that you don't like? I think Boomerang is probably not very effective against this deck.
Yeah, Boomerang not the best. I actually like Duress against this deck.
Yeah, I think that's especially in the post-border games that like it might become a little bit more of a dance with the Pyroblasts.
Mesmeric Fiend is probably not what you want, though, I would think.
Yeah.
But maybe even that's good, because like it's his hand that's going to have all the power, right?
Yeah, and like without Mog Fanatics, like it trades well with Jackal Pup and the Goblin Patrols. So the Mesmeric Fiends, I think on average it's a card I usually look to take out, but against Tom's list specifically, it does seem like it is a little bit better. But I don't know what else you take. I mean, I don't know if you shave a copy of like Lim-Dul's Vault, or maybe even like Counterspell that you just don't think you're going to have 2 extra mana to hold up.
Yeah, I don't. Well, I kind of like having hard counters against a burn deck. Okay. So I personally never take that kind of thing out. You could shave a couple copies of like Vision Charm or something like that, because like I'd rather have the tutor, I think, in general, because like it's make or break on these dreadnoughts against him, right? He doesn't have any other way to win.
That's true. And if he does have like the combo in hand, he would like to have probably some way to protect it a little bit if he can. And Lim-Dul's Vault does help with finding those sideboard cards.
Yeah, because he's in a situation where he's going to have to protect his Dreadnought as well against. The red deck's kind of the control deck here, I think, almost.
Yeah, well, when you have enough like interaction pieces, it's kind of like you might like present a clock, and then you're kind of forcing your opponent to react to that. And so it's I don't know, it's not necessarily aggressive and it's not necessarily controlling. It's kind of that tempo mid-range or idea. But all right, it looks like the players are close to being ready if they aren't already. Yes, Tom is. Oh no, he's still sideboarding. I was gonna say he's playing, but Tom won that last game, so he'll be on the
I
draw.
think Tom is mulliganing. I think.
Okay.
I think he's putting a card in the bottom right now, but I'm.
Yeah, chat's talking about Plague Spitter. I just don't think you can take extra damage from one of your own cards if you can avoid it. So I don't know if I am a fan of Plague Spitter in this matchup.
Yeah, I mean, there are. It's possible you could just like play a Plague Spitter and defend it and kill them with it, but it seems a little dicey.
All right, Jens is doing what he does best, and that's start off with I want to say Ponder, a Portent. Thankfully, the Portent is targeting himself and not Tom. It's always fun to watch people try and resolve a Portent against their opponent.
The drawback of webcam matches.
Yes.
Manipulating your opponent's top of deck without them knowing.
Yeah.
No turn one from Tom. It's kind of.
All right. Well, Jens is going for the aggressive turn two. Because when I say aggressive, because cards like Pyroblast or Overload might be coming into play, and that's looking like what Tom has. But I mean, Daze and Foil are cards that Jens could still have. And I mean, I guess I wouldn't fault someone if they just said, "I'm going to go for it now," because like my chances don't necessarily get that much better. But given that like Tom went Mountain Go, I think you have to kind of expect you have to expect some interaction in that piece. Okay, we see Foil cast. So Gush was cast first. That will bring back 2 lands, and then Foil, which discards an island and I think it was a Duress. I think.
Yeah. I'm kind of expecting some kind of removal spell from Tom after this because he didn't have a 1-drop, so
okay, so
to wonder why. But I guess he just kept a 1-lander because he had mulligan already.
Yep. So yeah, Grim Lavamancer is a follow-up, so not the most impressive. The 1-1 against the 12/12 was not quite a fair fight. And Tom's going to look for an overload as he slowly peels it. It looks like it's not there, and he'll scoop up. So I guess these last 2 games have kind of been, not that I'm saying that the Stiflenought deck can't win in the Cyber games, but I was expecting this result, but in a different order.
So it's back to normal.
Yes. I guess the difference is Tom gets to be on the play. So he... All right, we'll stay here, I guess, since sideboarding in theory probably won't change much. So I guess it could be possible that it looks like Tom might be eyeing up something that maybe he was considering taking something out, given that he's on the play.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes when I'm a mono red deck like this, I'll take out like a land sometimes on the draw.
Yeah, I can see that.
I found that to be pretty quality move.
Yeah, I have to like Jens's chances that he has 2 games and he just needs to win 1. So yeah, the power of the Stiflenought has really shown of how quick it can present the clock, and even with its mana down, it can protect it pretty well.
Yeah, it's probably usually going to be about 2-1 at this point, right? Because a lot of times, like Jens is going to win the first 2 in the best of 5.
Yeah. So it looks like it's Jens's turn to mulligan as he looks to improve his hand for this 3rd or 4th game.
I'm wondering how aggressively Tom should be mulliganing for answers to the Dreadnought combo, because I really do think he has to control what Jens does to win in general. He can't just hope to fade the combo every time.
So,
Like,
is there any like merit to saying like, let's say just Tom like confidently keeps 7? Does that change how Jens like either mulligans or plays his initial turns? Because if your opponent keeps keeps their 7, you have to think that he does have some way to interact with the Dreadnought.
right? Yeah.
So do you think that like buys like Tom just a little bit? Not that you would keep a bad hand, but maybe if you kept like a really like a non-interactive hand, but just had a good clock. Do you think there's any merit to doing that and thinking that's like I'm going to make Jens like think that I have a way and he'll play like a turn or two slower, and then that might buy me the time for me to just burn him out? Is that reasonable, or do you think you're just always just looking for Pyroblasts and Overloads and Shattering Pulse?
Oh, on Tom's side,
Yeah,
you
like
think?
it's like kind of a bluff. Like if you have a decent hand of in terms of like able to clock Jens, but don't have a way to like resolve a Dreadnought or interact with a Dreadnought. Oh, looks like he did. So Duress is played, and it reveals an Overload that got taken, and then there's 4 other lands in Tom's hand. So almost the opposite of what I was talking about, where it was a reactive hand and not really much else going on.
And this isn't even that reactive, honestly. Like he kind of kept a mana flooded 7, right?
Yeah, it had Overload, and I mean like that's obviously a good answer to a Resolved Dreadnought, but without anything else coming off the top of his deck, it looks like he's kind of just at the mercy of what he draws.
Right. Yeah, he's in this is a definitive tight spot.
So one thing that's always interesting is looking at like when you want to activate your Grim Lavamancer, because you look at this position and you might want to attack with the Lavamancer while you can, and then I mean the game doesn't go that much longer when a Dreadnought does come down, so maybe it doesn't really make a difference, but you can always activate the Lavamancer when there is a 12/12 in your way, and you might not be able to attack. So sometimes you have the balance of when you want to attack with the Lavamancer as compared to using its ability.
Yeah, I mean every point matters. I think I would lean towards attacking, but his deck seems like it puts a good amount of cards in the graveyard too. So,
though I can also see like certain situations where if he does draw well from here on out, that if he was going for the attacks, that he might be like a point short, and like that turn could really cost him.
So Yen's not doing much on his side here.
Nope. And he's had a draw. He's taken a little bit of damage. I guess he's taken 2 extra points from his lands, 1 from the fetch, and then 1 to cast the duress. So that helps Tom out a little bit.
Yeah, it's kind of like 2 decks not working though, playing against each other almost so far.
Yeah.
And we don't know how well Jens's is working, but
well, Tom either has a bunch of lands in his hand. I guess if they're just regular burn spells and you have enough mana, there's no reason for him to fire them off right now. No reason to like show Jens like how quick of a clock you really have. So I guess it's Tom's hand could be anything. It could be reactive spells. It's just probably cards not like Ball Lightning. I guess that's probably the only card I would not put him on.
Yeah, 3 overloads. That's what I'm guessing. Gush is so good in this deck.
Yeah,
for setting it up.
Well, just because like cards like Foil, where it works so well that you don't need the mana, and picking up the island is also beneficial. Like, I really like Gush in this Blueback Stiflenought, which is usually one of the key cards that's absent from the other versions that we've seen. So
yeah, everything I see in the other Stiflenought versions, I don't think I would want over Gush. I guess that's why I like his list a lot.
All right, we see the Lim-Dul's Vault cast, so it's always a interesting balance against the aggressive red deck of how deep you want to go in terms of paying life with its ability, or if you just want to stay with the original 5. And I think he had the first 5 is what he kept, because I think he took 1 damage just to cast it from Underground River. So it looked like Jens tapped his island, then untapped it. I don't know if he's still thinking on his turn or if he is passing.
I think he did that Gush Lim-Dul's vault at the end of Tom's turn.
Okay.
It's a little hard to tell.
Chat's talking about Tempting Worm. There was a list that I had seen that there was a paper event that someone had Tempting Worm in their. It wasn't quite a. I don't think it was a Dreadnought. I think it was like a Hermit Knot deck, but it had these Tempting Worms in the sideboard, and which is a card I had not seen. But apparently they just cast it and beat them down with 5/5. So interesting tech. But all right, but back to the game. We have a Dreadnought being cast, and so Tom has is 5 mana right now. It's too bad that he probably took out those firebolts. He'd be able to flash them back.
Didn't see it coming.
Alright, so Dreadnought comes into play. We will Vision Charm here. So now Tom has the opportunity to Pyroblast this. He could Shattering Pulse. He could Overload. So yeah, this is interesting because he has 5 mana and the buyback of Shattering Pulse is 3. So in theory, he could be casting this with buyback, but I don't know. I think you might just be afraid of getting dazed. Like that would be a pretty bad field.
Yeah,
damage.
it's pretty.
And so it looks
his
like
opponent does only have 2 dazes in his deck, though, right?
yes. Blue Elemental Blast is targeting the Shattering Pulse, and we have good old fashioned stack magic here with Pyroblast being responded. So
yeah,
looks like right now that Tom is going to win this exchange.
Well, there's always
a Gush. So.
We're not done yet. No.
Hey Andrew, hope you're doing well.
There's a Blue Blast. No.
That was the one I countered.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's a foil. So that was, how many cards did we have on the stack? We had 2.
That was number 5.
5. So looks like the Vision Charm will resolve, and now at the end of turn, a bolt will be fired off. So how much damage? So right now if Jens is at 8. Okay, so this is 3 damage. We know we can deal 5 or 4 with the Grim Lavamancer. So I think so.
Oh, he's playing around the Stifle. That's smart.
Yes. So now pretty much any source of damage from Tom is pretty good here, right?
A lot of outs. That's what we call this.
Yes. Cards that are not Jackal Pup or another Lavamancer or a Goblin Patrol.
He's wastelanded that Underground River.
Yes.
Effectively.
It can tap for colorless, but I guess.
Yeah.
So.
Another Dreadnought, which wouldn't help him much.
All right, so here we go. Tom pulls off the top of his deck. What will it be? He's got 2 cards in hand. I have to imagine one of them's not a burn spell because he probably would have fired it off at the end of turn.
Right.
He's pausing. That's not good for the red player. Unless it's a sequencing thing. I don't know. I guess like you would do it during upkeep, but it's kind of, here he's passing the turn. All right. We have upkeep. Okay, we have an activation. We have an overload. Okay, so not a burn spell, but a relevant card. So a big deal here, not only using his mana on Yen's turn, but if he had a Vision Charm to protect it, then it would get phased out and wouldn't be able to attack. Oh, but we see... So,
he had to counterspell, and that's still game.
Yes.
That's good.
All right. Well, that Underground River just dealt a few points to Jens, and that was enough to put him in burn range. So Sligh equalizing things, and now we're going to a decider game to figure out who's going to win this match.
Man, I can't believe he won that game. That was tight.
Yeah, I guess like especially given like after that overload got dressed and he didn't really have much pressure at all, it looked pretty grim for the red player.
Yeah. This is in the tournament where you sit back up in your chair and you're like, oh, new life. I'm back at it.
You definitely feel good after that one, yeah.
Yeah.
But now the downside to that is now he has to be on the draw for the final game. I guess I shouldn't say final game because there are flame rifts in Tom's list, so there's a possibility we are going to a wonderful game 6. I think that's something we all could appreciate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, why didn't we call the flame rift off the top?
Though I think Tom was at 5, so.
Oh, okay, yeah, true.
So who do you like in this last game?
Oh, God, I think this is really close after board.
Okay.
I think I give the nod to Jens just because he's going first. Is the card draw out of this Knot deck is its ability to find answers and interaction is just very a really powerful place to be.
The thing that I really like is the card of foil. I think like makes like a lot of the lists have 4 dazes, but like a smart opponent can play around that, and like foil is just so powerful in this deck because you're putting so many eggs in this basket of your Dreadnought and protecting it. And because like if you do find a way to answer their removal spell for it, they don't have a lot of time to draw out of it. I mean, a 12-12 Trampler kills everyone really quickly, so I really like foil in this deck.
Definitely.
And I guess we should mention that Jens is quite the collector, and his foils are foil, so it's very, very fitting. So.
What an ending to that game! What if that end of that game he just like lets the Overload resolve and plays another Dreadnought and stifles it? Something he can do with the Underground River that he couldn't do with the.
Yeah, the only thing is though, like I think there were enough spells that Tom could Grim Lavamancer twice.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But
yeah, so that's not saving him.
If he had land, which I'm pretty sure he did, and another copy of Stifle, then he could have stifled that activation, and then maybe that went for it.
That's a lot of Stifle. So
yes.
After using a Vision Charm on your Dreadnought.
This is the first mulligan from Jens, right? I might have lost count, but I guess we'll have to wait.
I believe so.
We'll try and pay attention to that when he does keep how many cards he puts back.
Yeah.
I guess that was one disadvantage to the London mulligan is they draw 7 every time, so we can't figure it out. Well, that is a mulligan. There's no mana there.
Yeah, so Tom easily just making me look bad here, Jens.
Well, I mean, that is the thing. Like the Sideboard games where card advantage, I think, does come more into play because you not only need the speed of it, but you have to expect your opponent to have some forms of interaction, and it takes extra cards to either reset after they do answer a Dreadnought or to protect it to begin with.
Right. I think like mulliganing is really bad for the Dreadnought deck on the afterboard.
Yeah.
It's gonna translate to like just some pretty bad times in the games because of the like him having to be the beatdown against reds.
Yeah. And not any fault to Jens. Like obviously that last
hand. Oh no. He's doing what he has to.
Yeah.
I wouldn't keep 7 spells either.
Yeah. the bold choice. But yeah, I agree that the Sideboard games, the mulligans are much more much more detrimental to his
Punishing.
game plan.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, 2 cards go to the bottom. Jens is looking at a 5-card hand on the play to try and win this 5th game, and he'll start it off with a Portent. That was a pretty quick shuffle.
Not what he wanted. I hope he's not going for a land here. Huh?
Yep, draws from the Portent. So, and so Tom just again just has the mountain go. So we have to expect the interaction, the little bit slower plan from the Sligh deck.
Right.
Well, I mean, I guess we saw like it could just be he just always wants to leave a mana up for Pyroblast, or representing it at least.
Yeah, he might just not feel safe not having Pyroblast up.
Well, and like
which is reasonable.
When you kind of send a signal,
yeah,
that like it might make Yen slow down too. So
yeah, I think it's just smart on the draw for him not to play anything turn 1. Like I think that last game he purposely did not play Lavamancer turn 1. You know. And I think this time he's probably purposely not playing.
Yeah, like even if you don't have the like Overload or the Pyroblast, like you're representing it, and I think Jens kind of has to respect that.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, very smart play from Tom.
Right, so there is a bolt. That's the first damage done to Jens. So he's at 17 when this Jackal Pup is going to get in. Put him to 15. Fetch land will put him to 14. His life is ticking down, but he still looks okay.
Because the pup hasn't connected yet.
Oh.
I think this is during
combat. Okay.
Combat.
All right. I was thinking we were on a turn. All right. So here we do have a Vendetta. So Jens will take 1 to the pup. And then we have a budget Jackal Pup in Goblin Patrol.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that it's like much better at blocking Phyrexian Dreadnought, but that's not even true.
Yeah. He left. I'm surprised he left Curse Scroll in.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what cards he took out.
What if he just slams a Plague Spitter here?
It would be. All right, so Tom is choosing to use a Pyroblast on a Gush. So, do you like that play, or do you think that means that he has more interaction cards and he's just trying to slow Jens down?
I mean, I do like that play with the double mulligan. I think, okay. But I also think it probably means he has another interaction piece. Yeah. But even if he does only have one interaction piece, he's still probably better off getting the Gush, because it's so likely that Jens is going to be able to set up the combo with like a foil or something.
Yeah.
Right.
And I guess also just slowing him down now that he can use a card like Curse Scroll. This isn't a sure hit. I mean, I guess unless there's duplicates, but
he might just want to keep islands out of Jens's hand too. Like well, if he has
the cost of
opponent,
they still get returned to cast it, so they were going to.
Oh yeah, you're right. I'm sorry.
But let's see if his life goes down, because a Fireblast was revealed.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you just always name Fireblast if Fireblast is in your hand?
Absolutely.
I don't just give him the fear.
Sometimes that's worth it, even if it's not your.
I wish I was talking about that before.
I'm trying to figure out when that's a play, but
yeah, I don't think that's very often, but I wish it was more. If there are a little bit more mind games to Curse Scroll, that would be really great.
Yeah.
But we see Firebolt being deployed, so some of these cards that I guess that I had thought might be a little bit too inefficient are in play for Tom, and the Curse Scroll is doing work here. It's now a recurring source of damage, and the life total from Jens is getting dangerously low, given that we know a Fireblast is looming. But I guess Jens can always say, like, you don't know if this Fireblast is going to resolve because of his counter magic, but Tom has so many lands that I don't think he's really even afraid to kind of chance it.
Agree.
So Jens is down to 5. And here we see the activation, Curse Scroll. It's not stifled, so he goes to 3. I mean, I don't see Jens winning this from this point, right? We got blue mana, a Vision Charm that can phase out an artifact, right?
Yeah.
He can mill some cards.
Yeah, this isn't. I think he's just playing cards.
Yes. Yeah, I have to imagine. I can't. I don't know what else we're seeing. We're floating mana. We're casting Fireblast. It looks like Jens is picking up his cards. Yeah, we see another Vision Charm.
Oh, no island.
Okay. Yeah, the Polluted Delta gets an island, but not an island in your hand for foil. So
right.
All right, I'm going to jump over to our players, and I will unmute them, and we can listen to what they are talking about right now.
Yeah,
sure.
That
means I have to unmute them too, I think.
No worries.
Hey, players, can you hear me?
Unmute them now.
Yes.
Yeah, now we can do this.
They probably still have us muted.
Yeah, they're talking about unmuting us right now. So,
all right, we're back.
All right. Well, congratulations, Tom. That was a very exciting match. A little bit of a heartbreak. I was a little bit of heartbreak for Jens.
Unfortunate.
But
yeah, not much action on there.
I guess when I was talking about, I was just thinking that Jens would pretty easily win the first 2 games. Given that there aren't that many ways for the Sligh deck to interact, but things didn't happen exactly the way I thought, so it was pretty interesting from that aspect.
It's funny, Jens and I were talking like lines through, and it was like happening exactly kind of how we expected. Like, we were talking about how, like, you know, Sligh can win like a game 1 against Stiflenought.
Yeah.
And when it did, it played out exactly how he's talking about it.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
Just a little bit too late with the Vision Charm.
yeah. My starting hand in the last game were 6 lands and a Portent, but I did not want to go down to 4.
Sure.
Yeah, that's but it happens. That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, playing those games was really exciting. Like, that was intense. That was.
Oh yeah.
From a viewer standpoint, that was sick because it was just like so back and forth and swingy, but also a lot of interaction.
Yeah.
Like the one stack we had was insane. It was like 5 cards. It was pretty sick.
Yeah.
You rarely see stacks modern.
Yeah, and there was Overload, Blue Elemental Blast, or Vision Charm. So Vision Charm.
Yeah.
Overload.
Gush was involved.
Yeah, Gush, Foil, Blue Elemental Blast, Pyroblast. Yeah. It was a good old fashioned stack. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Just what you want to see.
All right. So we'll quick see if chat has any questions to either the players. Otherwise, I don't really have anything to ask. Is BK, do you?
I was interested. So you took out Ball Lightning instead of Curse Scroll. That was very surprising to me.
Yeah, I think Ball Lightning is horrible against. He only has 2 Hydroblast, but it's like, I just think it's too slow. Like, I just think it's too slow. And Scroll's like really good. Like, I feel like it showcased itself. I don't know if it was game 2 and then the last game.
Yeah, the last
it's
game.
awkward for the blue black really can't interact with it well. I mean, Vision Charm's a corner case, but like,
yeah.
Curse Scroll, I think, is like the best deck in Sligh. It's really interesting. I just felt like Ball Lightning. Like, I don't know, I planned out how I was going to sideboard against him, and I was just like, these are I just like, these were definite, and then I just thought Ball Lightning was just too slow. I contemplated bringing 1 in on the play, in game 4, but I didn't.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, you really went full on controlled. Like, I guess your point of view is like, if he lands a Dreadnought, you're dead. So we're just gonna stop that from happening, and we're inevitably gonna win if it doesn't happen.
Yeah, I was like, I was telling one of my friends, I was like, sideboard games, I feel like this becomes a mono red control deck. So like, I kept the game, I kept the one hand with Lavamancer, like 2 fetches and the Shattering Pulse, and I was like, I think this hand can get there, and it actually did, which was surprising. Just like fueling the Lavamancer and dealing incremental points of damage. Yeah, it was like, it's weird to play this as like a control deck, because sometimes it like adapts to one. It's quite interesting.
Oh, Tom, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
So you said you had a 4th Dark Ball Lightning. You made it seem like you already had it.
No, it's in the man. Of course, I drew that one. It's so ugly. Look at that.
Yeah,
it's hard to look at.
Not the nicest one.
I just thought it was funny, like when someone like commented on the photo, your response made it seem like, oh, I took this photo at the beginning of the tournament. I have since bought a dark one, so when you see it on camera, you won't see any white-bordered ones. And then you cast this white-bordered ball lighting. I'm like, what happened?
No. Yeah, you're like, ew, what the hell? No, it's supposed to be delivered on Friday, so hopefully that's when it shows up.
All right.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe you don't want to take it out now. Maybe it's like your lucky ball lightning.
Yeah, your lucky ball lightning.
Maybe. I just want to give a shout out to Jens though. He played like, that was like really, I don't know. He was like telling me some things about Stiflenought too that was quite interesting. I think he played it really good.
Thanks.
It was like a nail biter the whole time.
Yeah, I love his list.
Yeah,
I think his list is like top notch.
Yeah, I never count Jens out of a game of Magic. He's always a tight player. So
thanks a lot, guys. Yeah, that were quite interesting and back and forth games. I really enjoyed them.
Yeah, they were fun to watch, and yeah, there were definitely some turns where it was just came down to what was on top of the deck, and it was really exciting. So,
and I think in the 4th game where I Portent, the Portent brought me after shuffling the Dreadnought on top, so that was quite lucky from my side.
Yes, I did get lucky though. I top decked the Overload, and that was extremely lucky.
Yeah, that was important and backbreaking for me.
All right, I don't have anything else for either of you. So is there anything else you want to say, or anyone you want to thank, or anything you want to plug before you guys go?
Yeah, thanks for the games, and thanks for setting this up, Michael.
Yeah.
That was my first Fall Brawl I could attend, and had a lot of fun. So keep going. That's great content.
All right, thank you. Glad to have you. Congratulations, condolences on your on the loss, but yeah, a job well done to get this far. So
yeah, good job.
All right, so thank you, players. We will bid you adieu, and BK and I will quick wrap things up as we'll end our broadcast for today. So I don't have any slides to show my upcoming streams, but I'll be streaming another Fall Brawl quarterfinal match tonight, starting at I can't remember what time I said. I think it's 8:30 Eastern. I'll be streaming the match between Gabe Farkas and Patrick McElligott, I believe is his last name, and that is the mono black pit aggro against the Junk Oath, and Lester will be joining me in the booth for that match. So,
oh man, you're not going to hear the end of Lester like red deck wins being the Stiflenought list.
That the red deck won, yeah. We'll hear it, but
he loves red more than anything.
So,
who do you think's going to win the next match?
I think the Junk deck is favored. I think it has the tools, and like once an Oath comes down, I think it's pretty tricky for the black deck to deal with it. So
yeah, I think when I was looking at those, I thought I kind of went through the top 8 trying to figure out what I thought was going to happen in all the matches, and I had red losing here, but I think you're in a good spot now that you made it through this matchup for the rest of the top 8.
Yep, and then the other match that we have scheduled is Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern. I think that's, and BK will be joining me in the booth for that one. So if you enjoyed the BK in the booth, you'll get to see some more or hear some more of him. Also see him.
Yeah.
But
And if you didn't, you have one day to talk Mike into getting rid of me. So
yeah. So I would like to thank Picolak CZ for the follow, and welcome to the show. And hopefully you'll be able to catch some of the other streams. But yeah, Vicky, I just want to thank you for coming on. I had a lot of fun going over this match. We got a lot of Magic done in a short amount of time, so this was some action-packed broadcast here. So
yeah, well, both decks do their thing pretty quick.
Yep. All right, is there anything you want to add before we head off, VK?
No.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks everyone for watching, and until next time, take care.
All right. Bye.
See you.